Ladies and gentlemen, everyone wants to talk about my success. They look at the billions of dollars, the global empire, the headlines. They see the mountaintop, but they never ask about the valley. Today, I want to talk to you about something much more valuable than my money. I want to talk to you about my failures. In this era, we are obsessed with winning. We scroll through social media and see everyone's perfect life, their perfect business, and their perfect results. It makes you feel like if you fail, if you get rejected, if you fall down, then something is wrong with you. But let me tell you the truth. Your success is not measured by how many times you win. It is measured by how many times you can be told no and still have the heart to keep going. I was not born a billionaire. I was born a failure. I failed a key primary school test 2 times. I failed my middle school test 3 times. When I applied for universities, I failed the entrance exam 3 times. I applied for 30 different jobs, and I was rejected by every single one. When KFC came to China, 24 people went for the job. 23 were accepted. I was the only one rejected. When I applied to be a police officer, 5 people went, 4 were accepted. Again, I was the only one they didn't want. At the time, it hurt. I felt like the world was closing its doors on me. But looking back, those 30 rejections were my greatest education. They were the laboratories of my character. If you are facing rejection today, if your business is failing, if you feel like you are not good enough, listen to me closely. This is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of your strength. Let me show you why failure is the only path to the top in this new era. Ladies and gentlemen, let us talk about a different kind of rejection. One that many people find hard to believe. I applied to Harvard University 10 times. And 10 times. They told me no at that time. Harvard was the ultimate symbol of success. In the eyes of the world, if you went to Harvard, you were validated. You were certified as one of the smartest, most capable human beings on the planet. I thought that if I could just get that stamp of approval, my path would be easy. But Harvard didn't want the English teacher from Hangzhou. They looked at my papers. They looked at my scores. And they saw someone who didn't fit their formula. Looking back, I want to thank Harvard for rejecting me, because if I had gone there, I might have become too smart for my own good. I might have been taught to follow the rules of business. I might have been taught that you need a 50-page business plan and $100 million in venture capital before you can start. I would have been filled with intellectual arrogance. In this modern era, we are obsessed with degrees and titles. We think that the person with the most certificates is the most capable. But the digital landscape doesn't care about your degree. The market doesn't care where you went to school. The market only cares about one thing. Can you solve the problem? There is a massive difference between book smarts and street smarts. Book smarts tell you how the world should work. Street smarts tell you how the world actually works. When Harvard rejected me, they forced me to stay on the streets. They forced me to learn from the real world, from my students, from my customers, and from my own mistakes. I have seen so many brilliant people fail because they are too proud to learn from a no they think. I have a degree from a top university. Why isn't the world bowing to me? They're waiting for the world to be fair. Ladies and gentlemen, the world is not fair. And in the modern economy, fairness is a luxury you cannot afford to wait for. When we started Alibaba, we didn't have the Harvard way of doing things. We had the survival way. We didn't have the best technology. We had the best heart. We didn't have the most data. We had the most grit. If I had been accepted to Harvard, I might have been taught to look down on the small shopkeepers in China. I might have been taught that they were too small to matter. But because I was an outcast, I understood them. I was one of them. I knew their pain. I knew their struggle. And I knew that if I could build a bridge for them, I could change the world. Do not let your lack of prestige stop you. In the current era, the gatekeepers are losing their power. You don't need Harvard's permission to start a YouTube channel. You don't need a bank's permission to build an AI startup. You don't need the police force's permission to be a leader. Your rejection by the elite is often your greatest protection from common thinking. If the experts tell you no, it usually means you are looking at something they cannot see. They are looking at the past. You are looking at the future. So, if you didn't go to the best school, if you don't have the big title, if you feel like the system is built against you, smile. You are in the best position to disrupt the system. You are not burdened by the right way of doing things. You are free to find the only way that works. Rejection from the top is often an invitation to build your own mountain. Don't waste your time trying to fit into their world. Spend your time building a world where they will eventually want to fit into yours. Ladies and gentlemen, we must now turn these stories into a strategy. Because inspiration without action is just a daydream. You are probably asking, Jack, I am facing rejection right now. My business is struggling. My ideas are being ignored. How do I survive the no today? In this modern era, you must adopt what I call the failing forward framework. It is not enough to just fail. You must fail with purpose. The first step is to change your definition of failure. Most people think failure is the opposite of success. They think it is a wall at the end of the road. But in the current landscape, failure is not the opposite of success. It is a requirement for success. Every no is simply a piece of data. It is the market telling you that your approach, your timing, or your delivery needs to be adjusted. If you don't fail, you aren't experimenting. And if you aren't experimenting, you aren't growing. The second step is the 24-hour morning rule. When I was rejected by those 30 jobs, I didn't spend months crying about it. I gave myself 24 hours to feel the pain, be human, feel the disappointment. But when the sun comes up the next day, the sorrowful period is over. You must put on your armor and get back into the arena. The world moves too fast for you to sit in a corner and feel sorry for yourself. The attention parasites love a victim, but the market only rewards a survivor. The third step is analyze the gap. When someone tells you no, do not walk away in anger. Walk away with curiosity. Ask yourself, what did I miss? Was I not clear? Was my value not obvious? Or was this simply the wrong person? Use every rejection as a mirror to sharpen your skills. The reason I am a good communicator today is because I had to learn how to explain the crazy idea of the internet to people who had never seen a computer. Every no forced me to become better. Finally, you must keep the heart of a student. The moment you think you know everything, you are finished. The experts are the ones who get crushed when the era changes. But the students, the ones who are humble enough to learn from their failures, are the ones who stay evergreen. I want you to understand that the path to $1 billion, or the path to your dream life, is paved with millions of no's. Do not be afraid of them. Embrace them. Wear them like badges of honor. If I had stayed at KFC, if I had become a police officer, if Harvard had said yes, I would not be here today. My failures saved me from a small life. They forced me to become the man I am. So, go out there today and seek the number, try the thing you are afraid to fail at. Because on the other side of those 30 rejections is a version of yourself that is unbreakable. The world doesn't belong to the smartest or the most prestigious. It belongs to the one who can fall down 7 times and get up 8. Thank you for joining me on this journey through my failures. I hope you see now that your current setbacks are not your destiny. They are your training ground. If you are ready to stop fearing rejection and start using it as fuel, I want you to comment unbreakable below. Let the world know that you are still in the game. And if you want to continue mastering the mindset needed for this modern era, subscribe and join our community of students. We are building something that the experts said was impossible. Stay foolish. Stay hungry. And most importantly, stay unbreakable. Thank you.